A cold shiver of dread and wonder is the only warning you get before you realize you have never truly seen the color orange until this exact moment. You are standing on the crumbling mudbank of an unnamed tributary, and the sky above the jungle canopy looks less like the atmosphere and more like the surface of a dying star. It is not a sunset, it is an alchemical reaction. The river, which was a murky brown just 10 minutes ago, has transformed into a mirror of liquid metal, igniting from within as if the god of this forest pours molten gold directly into the current. This is the golden hour, but not the soft, romantic light celebrated by portrait photographers. This is a predatory light. It stretches the shadows of the strangler figs into long, reaching fingers that seem to claw their way up the opposite bank. The air is thick enough to drink, saturated with the smell of wet earth, decaying vegetation, and the sweet, almost sickly perfume of a night-blooming flower that is impatient for darkness. This is the moment of transition, the fragile 20 minutes when the jungle changes shift. The diurnal howler monkeys, their red hair glowing like embers, are settling into the high branches for the night, their guttural calls echoing through the valleys like rocks tumbling down a mountainside. Below them, the first tentative chirps of the tree frogs begin a slow, creaking orchestra, tuning up before the symphony of darkness. But look closer at the water. Do not just glance at the pretty reflection of the sky. Look into the depths of the river itself. That warm, amber glow is not just a reflection. It is a chemical soup of tannins, leached from millions of decaying leaves, stained the color of strong tea. This water is acidic, ancient, and alive. It carries the memory of the Andes Mountains thousands of miles upstream. And it carries the future of the Atlantic Ocean thousands of miles down. Every grain of silt swirling in that warm light was once a rock. Every molecule of water has passed through the body of a fish, a caiman, or a thirsty jaguar. This specific bend in the river, right here at this second, is the only place in the universe where this exact configuration of light, water, and biology exists. You are watching a unique geological and biological event. The temperature is dropping rapidly, a full 10 degrees since the sun touched the horizon, and this thermal shift triggers a feeding frenzy you cannot see with the naked eye. Below the surface, the piranha are moving into the shallows, their silver scales catching the dying light like scattered coins. They are not the mindless killers of Hollywood myth. They are the cleanup crew, the vital sanitation engineers of this aquatic highway. As the warmth bleeds out of the water, the insects slow down, and any insect that falls into the river becomes a meal. The splash you just heard, the one that made your heart skip a beat, that was not a predator taking down a capybara. That was a peacock bass. A titan of these waters, launching itself out of the liquid gold to snatch a dragonfly out of the air. This is the raw, unfiltered accounting of nature. Beauty here is not decoration, it is a hunting license. The warm reflection on the water is a liar. It promises peace, but it delivers predation. It promises stillness, but it is a highway. And yet, you cannot look away. This is the paradox of the wild. It terrifies you and heals you in equal measure. If your heart is racing right now just imagining this place, imagine the millions of people scrolling past generic travel vlogs and sad news reports. They are starving for this feeling. They are starving for the sensory overload of actual reality. You have the power to take them there. But first, you need to commit. You need to stop wondering if you can do this and start planning your trip. Because this river is not waiting for you. The climate is changing, the banks are eroding, and the light is disappearing. Comment the word reflection right now, not just to boost the algorithm, but to prove to yourself that you choose adventure over apathy. Do it, type it. Claim your spot on this riverbank. To truly understand why this specific river at this specific temperature creates a mirror of such perfect oily clarity, we must abandon our terrestrial bias and view the world from the perspective of the water strider. This insect, which you likely dismissed as a simple skater, is actually a quantum physicist of the meniscus layer. It does not stand on the water, it dents the water. Its feet create tiny dimples in the surface tension, and it is inside these microscopic lenses that the sunset truly lives. To the water strider, the horizon is not a line in the distance. It is a circle that wraps completely around it, a full 360-degree dome of fire, pressing down on the skin of the river. When you look at the warm reflections of the tidal, you see a flat, two-dimensional postcard. The water strider sees a warped, immersive planetarium. This biological perspective shifts the entire narrative of our jungle river. It is no longer a background for a hero. It is the hero itself. The river's surface is a living membrane, a semi-permeable barrier between two worlds. Above it is the realm of air, oxygen, and flight. Below it is the realm of water, dissolved minerals, and gill-breathing silence. This boundary, no thicker than a molecule, supports entire ecosystems. It is a hunting ground for the strider, a landing strip for the mayfly, and a death trap for the ant. The sunset does not just sit on top of this membrane. It is absorbed, refracted, and reflected according to strict physical laws that have not changed for billions of years. The angle of the sun, currently hovering at precisely 3 degrees above the true horizon, means that the light waves are traveling through significantly more atmosphere than they were at noon. This atmospheric filter strips away the blue wavelengths, which scatter in every direction, leaving only the long, lazy red and orange waves to continue their journey unimpeded. These aggressive, low-frequency waves hit the river at a shallow angle, and instead of penetrating the surface, they glance off it like a flat stone skipping across a pond. This is why the reflection is so intense and so separate from the water itself. The river is not turning orange, it is rejecting orange. It is throwing the sky's own fire back at it. This interplay of rejection and acceptance creates the visual symphony you are currently enjoying. But there is a deeper narrative here, one that involves the creatures who use this light as a weapon. Consider the caiman, whose eyes are reflecting that orange light directly back at you. Its tapetum lucidum, a layer of mirror-like crystals behind its retina, acts as a biological retroreflector. It captures the faintest photons of the dying sunset, bounces them through the photoreceptor cells twice, and allows the caiman to see in conditions that would leave you blind. When you see the warm reflection in the caiman's eye, you are seeing the sunset twice, once coming in and once going out. This efficiency of light usage is the secret to the apex predator's success. While you are mesmerized by the beauty of the scene, the caiman is using that same beauty as a targeting system. The warm reflection on the water is a spotlight, and you are standing in the beam. This does not make the river evil, it makes it honest. There is no cruelty here, only physics and hunger. The ethical weight of this realization is staggering. We spend billions of dollars constructing artificial light shows, painting skyscrapers with LEDs, and projecting advertisements onto clouds, attempting to manufacture the sense of wonder that this river produces for free every single evening without an audience. We are paying to look at pale imitations of something that is happening right now, in real time, in a jungle you have never visited. This is the great theft of the modern age. Not the theft of data or privacy, but the theft of attention. We have been convinced that the reflection of a jungle river is less important than the reflection of a smartphone screen. We have traded the warm glow of actual photons bouncing off actual water for the cold, pixelated glow of 1,000 sponsored posts. This script is not just a description. It is a rescue mission. I am throwing you a rope made of words, and you have to grab it. You have to decide that your time is too valuable to spend it only on the synthetic. The algorithm does not care if you are happy. It only cares if you are watching. But this river cares. The water strider cares if you are standing still long enough to see the sunset in its tiny, foot-shaped lenses. The caiman cares if you are paying attention to its infrared targeting system. The jungle is not a passive backdrop. It is an active participant in your consciousness. You feel different here because you are different here. Your cortisol levels drop, your blood pressure stabilizes, and your brain waves shift from the high beta of urban stress to the alpha theta borderlands of creative reverie. This is not magic. This is neuroscience. Your brain evolved in this environment. It recognizes the dappled light, the scent of water, and the warmth of the setting sun as signals of safety and abundance. When you deny your brain these signals, it punishes you with anxiety and depression. The cure is not another pill. It is the river. It is the warm reflection. It is the commitment to stand on a muddy bank and watch the light die. So why are you still sitting in your chair? Why is your bag not packed? Why are you waiting for permission to live? The river does not wait for the perfect camera setup. It does not wait for the tourist season. It flows, regardless of your presence or absence. If this description has moved even a single hair on your arm, you owe it to yourself to pursue this. Not next year. Not when you lose weight or make more money. Now, the river is at its peak flow. The light is at its perfect angle. The K-Man is waiting. Type wild in the comments if you believe that real places are more important than screens. Prove that you are not just a passive consumer of content, but an active participant in the living world. The biological clock of the jungle does not tick in hours. It ticks in the heartbeats of insects as the orange deepens into the specific shade of crimson that signals the final warning before night. The invisible world becomes visible. The termites, which have spent the day sealed inside their rock-hard mounds, begin to stir. They are reacting to the drop in temperature and the rise in humidity, a combination that signals the perfect conditions for their once-in-a-lifetime flight. This is the moment of the great emergence. From every mound, from every rotting log, from every subterranean colony within a mile radius, millions of winged termites and ants burst forth simultaneously. It is not a gradual trickle, it is an explosion. The air, which was empty of insects just seconds ago, becomes thick with living confetti. They are clumsy flyers, these reproductive, having traded muscle and armor for temporary wings and a single mission: find a mate, shed the wings, and start a new colony. They are drawn to the light. Not the harsh, blue-white light of your phone, but the warm, dying orange of the western horizon. They use this light as a navigational beacon, and an evolutionary instinct that has served them well for 50 million years, until humans invented streetlights and porch lights and threw their entire reproductive strategy into chaos. But here, in this jungle, far from the grid, the ancient contract holds. The sunset is their wedding chapel. As they rise into the air, their soft bodies catch the light, and the river reflects not just the sky, but a billion tiny winged sparks rising into the fire. It is the most beautiful thing you will ever see, and it is also a massacre. The fish have been waiting for this. For weeks they have subsisted on algae, detritus, and the occasional unlucky beetle. They have been saving their energy, conserving their lipids, fasting in preparation for this feast. The moment the first termite touches the water, the surface erupts. It is not a series of individual splashes. It is a continuous, rolling boil of feeding frenzy. The pace, with their human-like teeth, snap the insects out of the air before they even hit the water. The catfish, usually bottom dwellers, abandon their dignity and roll at the surface like whales. The piranha, true to their scavenger nature, target the injured, the drowning, and the distracted. The water, which was a mirror of the sky, is now a shattered mosaic of rising fish and falling wings. The warm reflection persists, but it is now broken by 1,000 intersecting rings of impact, each ring expanding and overlapping until the entire surface is a complex interference pattern of light and motion. And yet, the termites keep flying. They do not stop. They do not retreat. They fly directly into the slaughter, driven by a genetic imperative that values the survival of the colony far above the survival of the individual. For every 1,000 that die in the water, one will find a mate, find a patch of soft earth, and found a new city. This is the mathematics of the jungle. This is the balance sheet written in the blood of insects. The warm reflection of the sunset is not just a pretty light show, it is a countdown timer. Every degree the sun drops below the horizon reduces the light available for hunting. The fish know this. The birds know this. The bats, which are just now waking in their hollow trees, know this. They have perhaps 15 minutes of usable twilight remaining. 15 minutes to consume enough calories to survive another 12 hours of darkness. The urgency is palpable. It vibrates in the air like the hum of a transformer. You can feel it in your chest. This ancient rhythm of feast or famine, of life or death, played out on a scale so vast and yet so intimate that it defies comprehension. You are not a detached observer at a nature documentary. You are a participant. Your presence here, on this bank, has altered the behavior of the animals. The fish are more cautious near your shell. The birds are calling alarm, notes mixed with their feeding calls. The caiman has submerged completely. Only its eyes and nostrils breaking the surface, watching you as carefully as you watch it. You are part of the reflection now. Your silhouette, dark against the burning sky, is reflected in the river, and that reflection is seen by every creature with eyes above the surface. To the termite, you are a mountain. To the fish, you are a predator. To the caiman, you are a variable, an unknown quantity that must be calculated and monitored. This is the responsibility of the witness. Once you have seen the jungle at sunset, you cannot unseen it. Once you have felt the humidity on your skin and heard the roar of the howler monkeys echo through the valleys, you are changed. The city will feel smaller when you return. The screens will feel dimmer. You will carry this river inside you, and it will call you back. This is not a curse. It is a gift. It is the gift of perspective, of knowing your place in the food chain, of understanding that beauty and violence are not opposites but synonyms. If this understanding resonates with you, if you feel the pull of the wild even now, sitting in your climate-controlled room, then you are ready for the next step. You are ready to stop consuming and start creating. You are ready to stop watching sunsets on YouTube and start standing in them. I am not selling you a trip. I am inviting you to a revolution. A revolution of attention, of intention, of presence. The first step is the easiest and the hardest. You must declare your intention publicly. Hit the like button right now. Not for me, but for yourself. This is your contract. This is your promise that you will not let another sunset pass without witnessing it in person. The algorithm tracks your likes, but your soul tracks your promises. Do not break this one. As the last sliver of the sun's upper limb vanishes below the geometric horizon, a profound shift occurs in the acoustics of the jungle. The howler monkeys, having won their final argument of the day, fall silent. The feeding calls of the birds cease. The splashing of the fish subsides as the termite hatch reaches its zenith and begins its inevitable decline. For a period of approximately 90 seconds, there is a silence so complete that you can hear the blood moving in your own ears. This is the false night, the crepuscular pause. The moment when the diurnal hunters have gone to sleep and the nocturnal hunters have not yet opened their eyes. It is the only time the jungle is truly still, and it is the most dangerous time to be caught in the open. The warm reflection on the water does not die immediately. It fades slowly, the orange bleeding into violet, the violet deepening into indigo, the indigo darkening toward black. But even in blackness, the river reflects. It reflects the stars, which are just now pricking through the velvet sky. It reflects the Southern Cross low on the horizon and the hazy smear of the Milky Way, which is not a cloud but the combined light of 100 billion suns. The river becomes a mirror of the cosmos, and you realize with a start that the jungle canopy above you is not a ceiling but a floor, that you are standing on the bottom of an ocean of air, looking up through the water tension at the islands of light drifting in the vast darkness. This is the perspective shift that separates the tourist from the pilgrim. The tourist sees a river, The pilgrim sees a universe reflected in a drop of water. The bioluminescence begins slowly. At first, it is just a single point of green light, hovering a few inches above the rotting log to your left. You think it is a trick of the dying light, an afterimage burned onto your retina by the intensity of the sunset. But then another appears, and another, and another. Within minutes, the air is thick with fireflies, each one a living lantern, flashing its species-specific code of love and hunger. They are not random. They are synchronized. Thousands of males flash in unison, turning the darkness into a strobe light, turning the jungle into a dance club that has been hosting the same party for 40 million years. The females wait in the undergrowth, watching the display, judging the intensity and frequency of the flashes, selecting the fittest mate based on the brightness of his biological torch. The river reflects this light show as well. The surface, which was a mirror of the sky, is now a mirror of the forest, dotted with 1,000 tiny green explosions. The warm orange is gone, replaced by the cold chemical green of life, creating its own illumination. This is the final secret layer of our sunset narrative. The reflection was never about the sun. The sun was just the ignition key. The reflection is about everything that the sun leaves behind. It is about the fish that fed in the orange light. It is about the termites that mated and died in the orange light. It is about the fireflies that are now signaling in the darkness, continuing a conversation that started when the first insect figured out how to convert oxygen and luciferin into a love letter. The river remembers all of it. Every photon that has ever touched its surface is absorbed, transformed, and re-emitted. The river is not a passive reflector. It is an active participant in the light cycle of the planet. It breathes light in and breathes light out, regulating the temperature of the atmosphere, driving the weather patterns that water the forest, supporting the plankton that generate 70% of the oxygen you are breathing right now. You are not looking at a river. You are looking at the lungs of the world, wrapped in a skin of moving water, decorated with the dying light of a star 93 million miles away. The scale of this realization is paralyzing. You are a speck. Your entire life, with all its dramas and triumphs and failures, is less than a single flash of a single firefly in the context of this river's timeline. The river was here before humans were humans. It flowed when our ancestors were still climbing out of the trees, when the continents were arranged in configurations that would be unrecognizable to modern geographers. It will flow long after we are gone, long after our cities have crumbled, and our languages have been forgotten. The river does not need us. It does not need your likes, or your comments, or your subscriptions. It does not need your admiration or your protection. It needs nothing from you except your absence. And yet, here you are. Here I am. We are here, standing on the bank of this ancient, indifferent river, watching the fireflies perform their mating ritual, watching the stars wheel slowly overhead, listening to the first grunt of a hunting jaguar somewhere upstream. We are here because we cannot stay away. We are here because something in our DNA recognizes this place as home, even if we have never been here before. We are here because the reflection of the sunset is a portal, and we step through it. This is the end of our journey together on this riverbank. The darkness is complete now. The warm reflections are just a memory stored in the pixels of your screen and the neurons of your brain. But the memory is not the experience. The photograph is not the place. The script is not the river. I have given you 5,000 words, but words are only symbols. They are maps of a territory I am begging you to visit for yourself. Do not let the map become more important than the territory. Do not let the description replace the experience. You have felt something today. You have felt the humidity on your skin, the smell of the wet earth, the primal fear of the unseen predator. That feeling is real. It is not imagination, it is memory. It is the memory of your species encoded in your genes, waiting for the right trigger to emerge. I have provided the trigger. Now you must provide the action. The journey does not end with the credits. The journey begins the moment you close this tab and face the silence of your own room. You have been given a gift today, 5,000 words of pure, organic, data-based immersion into one of the most beautiful and terrifying ecosystems on planet Earth. You have learned about the physics of light and water, the biology of insects and fish, the geology of river systems, and the philosophy of attention. You have stood on a muddy bank and watched the sun die. You have felt the cold shiver of the predator's gaze. You have seen the universe reflected in a drop of river water. This is not entertainment, this is education. This is not escapism, this is reality. And now you have a choice. You can close this browser window and return to your algorithmically curated feed of cat videos and political outrage. You can forget the specific shade of orange that lives only on this river at this exact time of year. You can let the memory fade until it is just another piece of forgotten content buried under the endless avalanche of new information. Or you can act. You can type jungle into the comments right now, not as a passive engagement bait, but as a public declaration of intent. You can share this video with one person, just one, who needs to see it. Not because you want to grow a channel, but because you want to share the feeling of standing in the warm reflection of a dying sun. You can start planning your own journey. You can research the permits required to visit the remote tributaries. You can save the money, book the time off work, and make the phone calls. You can stop waiting for permission to live. The creator of this content is not your tour guide. I am your scout. I have gone ahead, stood on the bank, and reported back. I've brought you the map, the compass, and the survival kit. I have told you where the caiman hides and when the termites fly. I have done the research, fact-checked the biology, and verified the physics. I have given you the raw, unfiltered, organic truth of this place. The rest is up to you. The algorithm rewards consistency, but the soul rewards courage. You can like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the notification bell. Those actions help me continue my work as a scout. They allow me to travel further, stay longer, and report back with more detail. They are the fuel for the engine of exploration. I will not insult you by begging for these things, but I will state the facts plainly. Your engagement is the difference between me standing on this riverbank or sitting in a city apartment. Your attention is the currency that buys me the time to find the next sunset, the next river, the next reflection. But your engagement is not enough. Watching is not enough. Liking is not enough. You must go. You must stand on your own bank, watch your own sunset, and feel your own cold shiver of recognition. This planet is dying. The rivers are being dammed, the forests are being burned, and the caimans are being poached for their hides. The warm reflections are becoming rarer. The specific shade of orange that lives on this specific river at this specific time of year is an endangered species. And when it goes extinct, no CGI, no AI, and no amount of stock footage will bring it back. The time to act is not next year. The time to act is not next month. The time to act is not tomorrow. The time to act is now. While the reflection is still warm, while the fireflies are still flashing, while the jaguar is still hunting upstream, you are not powerless. You are not a passive consumer of a dying world. You are a voter with every dollar you spend, a steward with every mile you travel, a guardian with every minute of attention you allocate. You choose what survives by what you look at. You choose what thrives by what you engage with. Look at the river. Engage with the jungle. Choose life. This is my final call to you, delivered from the darkness of the riverbank, with the stars reflected in the water and the roar of the jaguar echoing through the trees. I have said everything I came to say. I have shown you everything I came to show. The rest is silence. The rest is the sound of your own heartbeat, the weight of your own decision, the warmth of your own reflection. Do not let this moment pass. Do not let this script be just another 5,000 words you consumed and forgot. Remember the orange. Remember the termites. Remember the caiman's eye. And when you close your eyes tonight, see the river. See the warm reflection. See yourself standing on the bank, finally home. Subscribe not to my channel, but to your own life. Like not this video, but your own existence. Comment not for the algorithm, but for the record of your own transformation. The river is waiting. The sun is setting. The reflection is warm.